Saturday may be a short video day, at least this Saturday. So I mentioned that I had sent myself a little article to talk about Greece again, back in the spotlight. Greece debt, the deal is off. The Greece debt deal is off the table. Germany halts bailout, demanding more austerity and more pension cuts. Just when I thought there was no possible way you could squeeze blood from a turnip, they find a way to try and do it. However, I don't know if anything. Greece is a basically roadkill that's been squashed and ran over by truck after truck after truck on the interstate. And if you were to pick it up, it would be almost as flat as a piece of paper. Follow me? And then you trying to squeeze some blood out of a turnip. Except in this case, some roadkill. You can't, right? Plain and simple. But they still want to grab every last remaining anything that's valuable in Greece, privatize it, which means sell it off for a certain number of millions or billions, give it to the club. They then give you a little bit more of the loan they promised you. A payment of it. Here you go. Not all of it. Here's some of it. Knowing at the end you will bankrupt, you will go out of business as a country. It's not going to work. More than likely you will be leaving the EU, starting your own currency again. But the only difference is everything that you had, infrastructure, trains, buses, water company, electric, all that stuff is now owned by private parties. And as I've said, they got shareholders. And shareholders don't want to hear recession, downturn. No. Raise the rates. And they don't feel bad at all because they don't live there with you. These are outsiders who own companies inside your country. Oh, what's that? You can't pay your water bill? Oh, we'll just cut the water off. Yeah, but it's tripled. You guys have tripled the price since of several years ago before Greece experienced all these problems. It's triple. Oh, sorry about that. My electric bill's gone up double. Sorry about that, but we're really bad. We really feel bad, but, we got shareholders, and shareholders don't want to hear that. Sorry. But if it was still in the public's possession, as a government-controlled, some of it's government-controlled, the stuff they want to privatize, obviously, is what the government can just hand over and say, okay, here you go. So, anyways, you're going to be making payments to outsiders. You're not going to have any. How's the government really going to get a bunch of revenue? They've sold everything off to outsiders. Oh, they can tax it. And if I was the government, if all JSNP 4, the JSNP 4 party took over, we're going to pass, guys, girls, we're going to pass legislation today. I've got a list in front of me that has every single corporation, company, entity, everything, government-owned, private-owned, all of it, that was privatized back in the bailout days, the days we didn't want to have the bailout. They forced it down our throat, and then we couldn't pay that. We couldn't do the austerity that they wanted, and they gave us another bailout with even harsher demands, which we did not want. And they did it again. They did it 3 times. Guess what? We are about to levy the largest tax you've ever seen in your freaking life on these companies, everyone that is now privatized, with the stipulation they cannot raise rates higher than they currently are right this second. Because they're going to want to raise the hell out of the rates to pay this tax levy that I'm about to nail them with. And they're not going to be able to. They're going to be forced to sell for pennies on the dollar. Guess who's going to buy? Government's going to buy back up for pennies on the dollar. That's how JSNP 4, oh, you guys want to play that game? I can play it right back with you. The JSNP 4 party. Okay? Germany says it will not support a bailout deal for Greece until it pushes through laws to cut pensions even more. Are there even pensions left in Greece? Is there anyone that has one? Cut pensions and inflict more austerity on its citizens. Wow. The country issued a clarification yesterday saying that no deal had been reached until Greece passes laws to mandate up to 18% in pension cuts, which means on top of the other cuts they got, on top of the other cuts they got previously. Greek ministers emerged from 12-hour talks in Athens on Tuesday to announce a deal had been reached with the country's leaders. They were supported in their rhetoric by European Union Commissioner Pierre Moscovici, who issued a statement lauding the apparent agreement. He said, "The agreement reached overnight in Athens on the Greek Stability Support Program is a very positive development following months of complex negotiations." Now German Finance Minister Wolfgang Schäuble, who is meeting with European finance ministers in Malta later this month, has clarified the situation, saying no deal has been reached. And he has given Greek Prime Minister Alexis Tsipras an ultimatum that he do what the country orders him to do, or the deal is off. Deal or no deal. Come on the game show. This is Greece Live. Deal or no deal. He said the government has not yet fulfilled all the agreements. Yesterday it was revealed Germany is not keen to rock the boat and bail Greece out despite the migrant crisis of 2015, which is causing crisis in the country. That's another thing. You know what's almost funny? If it wasn't so serious? The massive migrants that were coming into Greece, just like all the other EU nations, Sweden and everybody else. Do you remember that? You have a dead broke, destroyed country that can't pay any bills. You can't cut anything any more than you have. It's scraping the bottom of the barrel. Let's flood them with a whole bunch of refugees and let them pay for that too. This is incredible. Yesterday it was revealed Germany is, I already read that. German Chancellor Angela Merkel is said to be sticking to her guns on the bailout deal so she does not come under fire from her own people. The EU and Germany have been criticized for their handling of the 2015 migrant crisis, which is still continuing to this day. Yesterday it was reported Schäuble cut a deal with IMF chief, of course, Christine Lagarde, to create another European monetary fund so Germany can avoid underwriting Greece's debt in the future. The news comes as Yanis Varoufakis, the Greek former finance minister, claims a German finance minister privately admitted he would not have personally gone through with the crippling austerity policies. In an explosive tell-all book, he reveals how Wolfgang Schäuble admitted he would not have gone through with EU-ordered measures. Guess he had to. Greece notified its creditors that it was struggling to meet their exacting demands last December over fears it could not repay $6 billion of debt by a July deadline. Well, guess what, Greece? Puerto Rico can't pay a $70 billion owed fee to the Wall Street bankers who are holding their bonds. $6 billion. Puerto Rico's laughing at that. But Germany and other lenders have refused to restructure the debt in a bid to drive uncertainty, which is adding to banks' capitalization issues. This is while the European Central Bank has allowed money to be printed in Germany and France to keep their economies afloat. Greek opposition leader Kyriakos Mitsotakis fumed. The second review of the Greek bailout program is the Waterloo of this government's miserable rule. The measures that appear to have been decided are painful for all Greeks, especially the weakest, violating every red line of the government. The delay in the negotiation had and has a huge cost for the economy, whereas the government has committed the country to more austerity for years without gaining anything of substance for the debt and primary budget surpluses. And I'll add one, Mr. Mitsotakis, they've privatized, sold off all your infrastructure to private hands, so you can no longer use that as any kind of income to help pay that debt back. It's gone now. Yeah, interesting. They are absolutely destroying JSNP4's people. Why is it JSNP4's people? Because JSNP4 is Greek. I do have a little Italian, but old Snippy is a Greek. The Greek, and he loves his gyros. Give me a gyros on a pita. Extra tzatziki sauce. No tomatoes. Hold the tomatoes. Get that crap off my sandwich. For those of us who are hardcore Americans, those of you who are hardcore Americans, you pronounce that as a gyro. It's pronounced gyros. Give me a gyro. You can add the S or leave it off. Give me a euro or gyros. But you don't go in there and say, yeah, let me get one of them gyros. Let me get a gyro with extra cucumber sauce. No, that's That's one of those lines, you might be a redneck if you call a gyros a gyro. Okay? That's American speak. Anyways, I feel horrible for that country. I mean, I feel horrible. Meanwhile, also, got riots in Paris, demonstration. We have massive riots happening in Venezuela. Not a lot of reporting on that, but I have seen a few videos here and there. And it's usually it's the younger crowd. However, there's some older folks with them. 30-something people are now dead by, police and whatnot over in Venezuela because of their protests. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing Maduro dragged out by his hair and the people beating him to death. I'm just going to say that. And say all other would-be dictators, not the kind we are shown on TV, Saddam Hussein, he's a dictator. Syria, Bashar Assad, he's a dictator. Libya, Gaddafi, dictator. No. Those are the fake dictators that we label dictators, even though they do single-handedly run their countries. But the definition we give of dictators, we really need to look in the mirror, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But let the people handle business on French Revolution style. Maduro, and all of you soldiers and police that helped do this guy, we tried to have elections, he postponed them, he stopped them, he changed the Constitution. You guys stood up and stopped us from dealing with him. Yeah, remember the Nuremberg trials, Nazis? You guys are in deep crap too. Thank you. That's how that would go. But instead, I see comments. They say we're being violent. We're not being violent. If we were violent, we would have already physically overthrown him. We're trying to do this peacefully, like a democracy. And I saw that line and said, I wish you lots of luck. Peaceful. Go get your pots and pans and start banging. Let me know how that works out for you. That man ain't leaving unless he's physically thrown out. Unless you're standing in front of his mansion and he's scared to death and says, okay, I'm leaving, my helicopter's coming, I will resign. And he flees like the other South American dictators have done in the past. A helicopter picks him up and they're never seen again. Anyways, on to the next video. Take care.